Joseph. From the pit to the palace. Long ago, in the land of Canaan, there lived a young man named Joseph. He was 17 years old, full of dreams, and filled with a heart of faith. Joseph was the beloved son of Jacob, born to him in his old age, and though Jacob had many sons, Joseph was his favorite. To show his love, Jacob gave Joseph a special gift, a coat woven with many colors. It shimmered in the sunlight, a robe unlike any other. But this gift, instead of bringing joy, stirred bitterness in his brothers' hearts. You see, Joseph was not only favored by his father, he was also gifted with dreams. In one dream, he saw sheaves of grain in the field. His brothers' sheaves bowed down to his. In another, the sun, moon, and 11 stars bowed down to him. When Joseph told these dreams to his family, his brothers' jealousy turned into hatred. They mocked him, saying, "Do you really think you will rule over us? Do you believe we will bow down to you?" One day, Jacob sent Joseph to check on his brothers as they tended the flocks. From a distance, they saw him coming, his colorful robe flowing in the wind. Anger filled their hearts, and they plotted together. "Here comes the dreamer," they whispered. "Let us kill him, and see what becomes of his dreams." But Reuben, the oldest, pleaded for his life. So instead of killing him, they seized Joseph, tore off his coat, and threw him into a deep, empty pit. The walls were high, the ground cold. Alone and frightened, Joseph cried out, but his brothers ignored him. As they ate their meal nearby, a caravan of merchants passed by on their way to Egypt. An idea struck Judah. Why kill our brother when we can profit from him? And so, they sold Joseph for 20 pieces of silver. The merchants carried him far from home, into a strange land. His brothers dipped his robe in goat's blood and showed it to their father Jacob. Broken-hearted, Jacob believed Joseph was dead. His cries filled the house with sorrow, and for many days he mourned. Meanwhile, Joseph was sold to Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh. Life in Egypt was not easy, but Joseph remained faithful to God. He worked with excellence, and soon Potiphar trusted him with everything in his household. Wherever Joseph went, blessings followed. But just as his life began to improve, darkness struck again. Potiphar's wife falsely accused Joseph of wrongdoing, and though he was innocent, he was thrown into prison. The prison walls were heavy with despair, but Joseph did not lose hope. Even there, God was with him. The jailer noticed his wisdom and entrusted him with responsibility. One day, Pharaoh's cupbearer and baker were thrown into prison. Each had troubling dreams they could not understand. Joseph listened, and with God's help, he interpreted them. To the cupbearer he said, "In 3 days, you will be restored to Pharaoh's service." To the baker he said, "In 3 days, you will be executed." And it happened just as Joseph foretold. But when the cupbearer was restored, he forgot Joseph, and years passed in silence. Then, one night, Pharaoh himself dreamed 2 troubling dreams. In the first, 7 fat cows were devoured by 7 thin ones. In the second, 7 full stalks of grain were swallowed by 7 withered ones. Pharaoh awoke disturbed, but none of his wise men could explain the meaning. At last, the cupbearer remembered Joseph. He told Pharaoh of the young Hebrew prisoner who could interpret dreams. Joseph was quickly summoned. Standing before Pharaoh, Joseph said humbly, "I cannot interpret dreams, but God will give Pharaoh the answer he seeks." Joseph explained, "The dreams are one. 7 years of great abundance will come to Egypt, followed by 7 years of severe famine. God has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do." Pharaoh was amazed. And Joseph, the forgotten prisoner, was lifted up clothed in fine linen, a golden chain placed around his neck, and made second in command over all Egypt. From the pit to the palace, Joseph's journey of suffering had led him to destiny. In time, famine spread across the lands. People from every nation came to Egypt for food, including Joseph's own brothers. They bowed before him, just as in his dreams, but they did not recognize him. Joseph tested them to see if their hearts had changed. When he saw their remorse and remembered his father's sorrow, his heart broke. He could no longer hold back his tears. He revealed himself, saying, "I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Egypt. Do not be afraid. What you meant for evil, God has turned for good to save many lives." The brothers wept, and Joseph forgave them. He embraced them and sent for Jacob, who rejoiced to see his son alive. And Joseph, once rejected, became a savior to his family and to nations. Joseph's story is a reminder that betrayal, suffering, and hardship are never the end. With faith and patience, trials can become testimonies, and pain can be transformed into purpose. So when life places you in the pit, remember Joseph, because God may be preparing you for the palace.